Today is going to be a fantastic show because it's going to be a great opportunity for you guys to really see the power of 360 Suite and be able to see how quickly and how well we can upgrade utilizing our tools. I will now pass this off to Patrick and Pauline for a live demo.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, Pauline and I, and a little bit of Scott as well. We're very happy to have you here. Second session of the day, where Pauline and I will, I was going to say attempt, but not too worried here, successfully upgrade from BI 4.2 to BI 4.3. We've done a similar session back in August, if I remember, last year. So it would be good to go through the steps again. And this time, yeah, we'll upgrade from 4.2, but to SP3 Service Pack 1, of course. Pauline, want to say a few words about our super good proven method?
Yeah, so we have 10 steps that we recommend that you follow anytime you do an upgrade. And we'll go through a few of these during the presentation, but these are best practices on how to have a most successful upgrade when you're upgrading your BusinessObjects environment.
Absolutely. For those who don't know me, as Scott mentioned, I started at BusinessObjects a long time ago, 20 years ago. I've been a consultant for over 15 years. I've done hundreds of migrations and upgrades, and I would follow these exact steps every single time, or I would try to convince my customers that it should be the way to do it. So today we go through some of these steps, like Pauline said, and we'll put in some of the context how the 360 solutions can help to better execute some of these steps and doing it in a faster way as well. Okay, so like I said, I have this 4.2 environment, which I've had for a few years now. It was 4.2 SP something, and it became SP8. I have lots of different content, Webbies, Lumiras, and so on. I'll show you very shortly. And the objective is to take this environment and side by side upgrade it to 4.3 SP01. So I have two servers, and I'm not going to touch my 4.2. I'll just, to be a source, and I'm going to migrate or promote the content to this new environment. And I'll do this live, and you'll see how it goes. So it's a small scale environment, but the steps will remain exactly the same. Step number one, prepare. Pauline, what should we do?
So yeah, and this step is, I think some of your suggestions are validating the PAM, making sure that you're, you check out the release notes for the latest release, read the PAM, make sure that all your third-party solutions, your OS, everything is compatible with the version you're going to, and then make sure what's going to be released, and then come up with a migration upgrade path. We also think this is a good time to take an assessment of your environment, take a look at what you have, the kind of content you have, number of objects, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if your migration is going to take longer than it should, or fail, or both, it's because you did not prepare well. Okay, so we will be sharing the slides. Each slides have this little icon here with some hyperlinks. This is for a blog I wrote a little while ago now. But yes, you want to go to 4.3, that's great. But what's new? What's there? What's not there? So if you were in a previous session, you know that 4.3, well, SP00 had things missing compared to 4.2. SP1 has added some of these things. That's great. And what's remaining comes in Service Pack 2. Now, for some of you, you will want to wait for SP2. For others, it will be, no, SP1 is a great place to start. Let's do it now. So yes, get informed, read the PAM, making sure your operating systems, your databases are still supported with this new version. Again, the 4.3, although it's the same core platform, it has been released years after 4.2. Some of you will be 4.1 or before. It's not because what you have now and working in supported will still be the case in 4.3. And one important question is, how are you going to do your migration or your upgrade? Now, this slide here is from an SAP note. And as you can see, depending from which version you're coming from, there's a different path of how you can go to 4.3. So if you come from anything 3.1 or before, and I'm sure that's going, I hope it's not going to be a lot of you, you cannot go to 4.3 directly. You'll need to go to 4.2. It says here for 142, but the reality is you'll go to the latest service pack of 4.2, and then only you'll be able to go to 4.3. So again, I know it's the minority, but we do see calls from customers from time to time with people who are still in 3.1.
So real quick, for
yeah.
those to keep it somewhat interactive here with our audience, I know a lot of you, if you were in the previous session, you probably already responded and told us what version you were on, and so you don't have to do it now. That's fine. But if you're new to the session and just signed on for this session, if you could just take a quick second and in the chat, just let us know what version of BusinessObjects you're on. We'd just love to know, and go from there. And then again, also when it comes to questions, again, we'd like to keep this as interactive as possible. We won't slow it down altogether, but if you're having questions when you see something, just put it into the chat box. When either Patrick or myself will see it, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, please do ask your questions. We'll try to go as we go along, or we'll do at the end. Right. Okay. So the majority of you will be in 4-point-something. So today's scenario, we're going, like I said, demonstrate how we can go to 4.3 coming from 4.2. Now, there's two ways of doing this. There is the in-place update. In-place update means you're going to download, it's like a big service pack, right? You're going to download 4.3 and you'll install it on top of your 4.1 or your 4.2. Or you can do it side by side, which is what we'll do today. You are going to keep your existing environment and you won't touch it. You'll build a new 4.3 environment, you'll configure it, and then we'll migrate or promote from one to the other. Now, there are lots of pros and cons for both methods, for both scenarios. Again, the little link here, I will show you a couple of blogs I wrote on that, some on the SAP community website, some on the 360 websites. Maybe, I don't know if Chris is going to share some of this link on the screen, but yeah, pros and cons, depending which solution you're going to choose. Now, Pauline mentioned an assessment earlier, absolutely right. Once you've read what 4.3 is all about, what's missing or not in the product, your supported platforms are all going to be okay. You've decided, right, I'm going to do it in place or side by side. You're ready to actually start the project here. Now, it's a lot easier to know which steps you'll take to migrate and which tests you'll have to do at the end if you know what you have, right? A lot of you have had BusinessObjects for many years. You have 10,000 webbies, you have tons of universes. Who knows what's used, what's not used, what you need to maybe recreate or rebuild. So doing an assessment is quite important. And we wrote this white paper a while back. You can find it on our website. We've created the ultimate upgrade checklist. So this document has, and it's a free white paper, of course. There must be 20 or 30 different suggestions or ideas of what you want to have a look and have answers for before you do your upgrade, right? I'll give you an example. It turns out you have some Lumiras, okay? Are they used or not used? Well, if they're not used, maybe you choose to not migrate them. If they are used, or if you choose to migrate them anyway, well, you know you need to install the Lumira add-on on a new server, that sort of thing. So maybe you have 50 universes, therefore 30 universe connections. Some are Oracle, some are SQL, some are Snowflake, some are whatever. Well, based on your assessment, you'll know which universes are used, therefore which connections are used, which middleware you need to make sure you have available on your new server and working. So again, get a lot of answers up front. It will make the entire process a lot faster. Okay, you've done your assessment. You've planned. It's time to to prepare and to get busy. So again, I chose to do it side by side. So what do I have to do? Well, I need to get new VMs. I need to install BusinessObjects. I need to configure it. Well, potentially the same way as it was before. If you don't, at least you know why. Install your add-ons, Lumira add-ons, analysis for Office. You'll need to install the client tools somewhere on some workstations, perhaps, to do some testing. Be aware that you cannot have the let's call it 4.2 and 4.3 client tools on the same workstation. So when you run your tests, you'll need a IDT, a UDT, a rich client WebB perhaps. You'll need to have a workstation or a server which doesn't have any 4.2 or before component on it. Most of you will be, I'm sure there's a question already, somebody asking, is there a checklist? So this is the kind of the checklist stuff here, right? Configure your third-party authentication. So most of you will be using Active Directory or something else. Now, before you promote your content from 4.2 to 4.3, you need to make sure that the third-party authentication is configured. But you don't want to have any groups or users already imported in that environment. So if you don't configure the third-party authentication, the groups and the users won't promote. If you configure it and you import some groups or roles and you want to test it, but you forget to remove them, the promotion will have some problems because of CUIDs. So again, believe me, configure. Do not leave the roles or the groups for the promotion. And I'll talk about this many times, but I would strongly recommend you practice your migration before you do it for real. This is the kind of problems you will quickly identify if you make a mistake. Right, lots of other things, firewalls, customization. A lot of you will have customized Tomcat to have SSL or to handle more RAM, perhaps, or to have other third-party configurations. So again, it's easy to forget these Tomcat configs because they are just well, it's a separate component, or some of them are done inside XML files, and they may be not even done by you. So you need to look not just at BusinessObjects, but look what's around. And of course, database connectivity, not only recreating the ODBC connections or the Oracle configuration, but some of you may have configured some PRM and SBO files in the past. So again, everything that you have customized needs to be recreated in that new environment. Okay, once you've built your new server, it's configured, you have done everything, it's time to test it, right? You don't want to do a promotion if the server doesn't work. There are many things here. If your WebB processing servers don't work, the promotion will fail. If you can't view and refresh reports because you forgot to do some ODBC connections, your troubleshooting will take a bit longer because you may not know for sure where the failure occurs, right? So build a server, test it as if you were a new customer starting from fresh, right? Can I log on? Can I view and refresh a couple of things? If you have a cluster, is my load balancing failover working? That will prove that all your servers are configured exactly the same. There's no firewall problems. So again, make sure the server is working as if you were a brand new BusinessObjects customer here. Okay, so we have a look. It was a rhetorical question. Let's have a look. Okay, so This is my 4.2 environment. If I show you what I have here. So again, if I was doing this for real, and let's say it's not me who built this environment. Yes, maybe I'm a contractor and I'm just going to work for you. So, okay, which SAP components do I have? Right, I have Lumira, okay. Now, because I read the PAM, the release notes, and all of the blogs, I know that Lumira 2.3 is not supported with 4.3. I need Lumira 2.4. So again, it's important to be aware of what's going on. Okay, I have Crystal reports, which I have patched over the years. Live Office, Explorer dashboards. These things, again, if you read everything, you'll know that these things are no longer well, they don't exist. It's not even supported. They do not exist in 4.3 at all. So during my assessment, that checklist or that things that Pauline was talking about, if I identify that I have some dashboards, Excelsius or Explorer, these objects will not be migrated. So again, during the assessment, you can find out if these things were used or not. And if they are used, well, you need a plan B for these end users. Then I have platform, client tools, analysis for Office. All right, okay, so this is what I have installed. That's good. Now, if we have a look, I'll log on to the Launchpad. And again, without any of the 360 Suite solution, what would I do? I'll have a look, at the content that I have here. I would log on in the CMC to find out, right, okay, how many objects do I have? Well, I have 332 objects. So that's kind of the amount of what I'm expecting to see after I have migrated. It will be less in reality because, again, minus the Excelsius, minus the... So, the manual assessment will be quite long because I would have to go here. I'll need to find the dashboard somewhere. Here we go. Click OK. All right, well, I have two. Well, these two won't be migrated. So a lot of manual action to know what's going on. And then the connections. Right. Okay, I have lots of connections, some are BW. Right, I need to configure BW. Again, a lot of things. Have a look at that ultimate checklist. A lot of these things will be documented for you to put you in the right direction. Now, we do have a 360 solution to make this process a lot faster and safer. Pauline, want to talk a bit about it?
Sure, yeah. With 360 Suite, we have a BI on BI solution that allows you to extract metadata from your file store, from the CMS, and from Auditor, and combine everything into a data mart that then you can report off of. So rather than doing what Patrick was doing in the CMC and kind of navigating through, clicking, you get the object list. That's great, but what are they? Is it Webbies? Is it Crystal? What content do I have? So these reports from 360 Suite will allow you to do that assessment much more simply, and you get a full picture of your environment.
Absolutely. So here we go. Here's a Webby report leveraging that metadata. Here are the universe connections that I have, of which types. That will be easy for me to add a column here, used or not used, or since when it's been used last time. So I could say, right, I don't know, I don't need to recreate this universe connection, but I do need absolutely these ones here. That sort of things about the universe connections. Or if we go to the reports, report documentation, which documents, again, are used and not used, which queries, again, leveraging a lot of metadata here. I said we need to rebuild servers. So when you go to the servers, for those of you who are server administrators here, you'll know, where's my thing? Here we go. You have a lot of servers on BusinessObjects. Some of them will have been configured over time with different parameters. If I take the Webby processing server, there might be some timeouts. The APS, some of you will have changed the amount of RAM they take. So again, you made decisions over the years on how you wanted your server to be recreated. Again, have a look at the configuration. And all of these things are great for the validation later on, because you can compare this metadata before versus the metadata after, and all right, I've rebuilt everything properly here. So it's all good. And I'll just show you a last one. Scheduling analysis. Again, if you have any recurring reports, you want to know where they go, because you'll need to configure the SMTP server, you'll need service accounts if it goes to FTP or network share somewhere. So a lot of these questions that you need answers of, so you can rebuild, configure your server properly, ensure that the promotion goes well, and then test afterwards. 360 Eyes, or 360 Suite can do this process super quick for you and not forgetting anything. Okay. All right. Promotion, Pauline. What are we going to do here?
So this is the big part, is moving all the content from 4.2 to 4.3. So we do recommend that you back up the environment. So back up your system database, your file store before promoting. And Patrick's going to show us how he will do the promotion.
So this bit here, clearly it's important. It's where you move from A to B, but it's the easiest bit. And so many people over the years, when we do these webinars, which is why we do it live here, oh, can we see how it's done? It's not very, it's like 7 clicks, right? There's not a lot of things going on here. The real thing when you migrate is prepare before and test after. But yes, more than happy to show you how we do this in real life. A few things you want to know before I talk about the backup and doing it for real is some of these disclaimers are coming from the documentation. So some of the steps with the promotion wizard cannot be stopped, right? So when you click start, that's it. It's going. So unless you kill the application, and that's not something that would be really nice, you cannot cancel it. The second thing is, once you promote, you can't roll back, which is the importance of doing a backup. And I'll show you how to do the backup. And that's the reason why I like to do it side by side as well. So just be aware, once you sent it, it's too late. If there's something you promoted you didn't want, you have to delete it manually or restore from your backup. By default, it's a Java tool, right? So that Java tool will not go by default above 10 gigs of RAM. Now, if you do a big promotion, you will very likely need to increase that value. Again, that's why I like to test my migrations. I don't want to say, right, let's go live on the 20th. On the 20th, I do it for the first time, and then I run out of disk space or memory or something happens, and then, oh, sorry, everybody, we'll go live next week, right? So take a backup, migrate everything, see what happens. It's successful, great. It's not, you resolve the problem, you practice it, and then you can plan to do it for real and go live. And a few tips about things you can disable to improve performance. All right, let's do this again. So first thing first is the backup. And if this was a disaster recovery webinar, I'll say make sure that you know how to back up, but more importantly, make sure you know how to restore, and that's really working. Because if you do a backup and you don't know what to do, well, it's a little bit pointless. Now, the simplest backup you can do in the context of what we're going to do here, not disaster recovery, but have a point in time to go back if I change my mind. Stop your SIA. So your CMS is stopped, your input and output are stopped. Some will argue, oh, you don't really have to do that anymore because of the hot backup, but I'm still old school. I like to do this. It takes 2 minutes. Stop your SIA, then go to where your file store is. So by default, it will be in this location. Take a copy. So yeah, just simply did a copy and paste. In my case, it's it's a small folder, but just make a backup of the folder, and then go to your system database, and this is SQL Server here, but whichever vendor you're using, and create a backup. So I have practiced this migration, before doing this webinar. That's why I have backups already. And then all I have to do when I'm done is stop the SIA. I delete the tables, I restore them. I go here, I delete this folder, and I reuse my backup. I restart the SIA, and I'm done. I'm back to exactly the way it was at this point in time. So it's a complete backup. Very simple to do. And if we have time at the end, I'll show you how to roll back. But otherwise, that's the steps that we were about to do. Okay. Going from 4.2 to 4.3, it's now called the promotion wizard. Yes, it's no more the import wizard that was in 3.1. It was the upgrade management tool before, but now it's the promotion management wizard. So I'm in 4.3 here. So 4.3 will connect to 4.2, could be 4.1. Yes, I'm going to take the content and write it in my 4.3. And this solution cannot point to 3.1 or before, like I said before. So if you're in 3.1, you need to go to 4.2, and then you'll do exactly the steps I'm doing now. All right, okay, this folder here. This folder needs to have tons of disk storage. When I do next, it's going to tell me you need 5 gigs or whatever of temp storage. Some of you will be 100 gigs. You need a lot of storage, so make sure that whatever you put here will have enough. Next, I'm going to log on to my 4.3 environment. Now, Scott, I don't know if there's any questions, but please do ask your questions, because now the promotion will be live. It will take like 5-6 minutes here, so we have plenty of time to go through questions.
Okay. Just take a little further back, and this was probably a few slides back. Pat Hannum had a question.
Not yet, Scott. Not yet.
Once he's kicked it off.
Not yet. Once I kick it, I'm just saying, everybody, keep your questions going.
Okay, more questions. I apologize. Yes.
All right. So you have 2 ways of doing this now. You can go from your live business objects and go to an LCM bear file. That's an offline file, and that file can then be reused later on to go from the file to a business object. So that is applicable if you go from, let's say, 4.2 to 4.3, but the 2 environments can't see each other because there's a firewall or whatever the reason. So yeah, export to a file, and then later on you re-import from the file. In my case here, because the 2 environments can speak to each other, I'm going to do a live CMS to CMS. Okay, so what's my source environment? My source environment, well, it's already here because I practiced it, but that's my 4.2 that I've shown you earlier. So I'm going to log on for real. And what's my destination? I can type it manually, or I can just take that box here. So now you see from this server here, source, from this server to this server. So 4.2 to 4.3. Okay, so now I'm going to log on to the environment. Okay. Here again, you have only 2 options. Do I want to promote everything? For some of you, that will be the case. Or do I want to be selective and just take, just the folders and the users, but I don't want my categories. I don't know. You can select and unselect things. Now, let me show you what happens if I do a full content and I did not prepare properly. So I'll click next. Now it's just going to do a quick check here. Right, this is the stuff I'm going to take. I quite like this collapse all here. All right, so it's going to migrate my BW stuff and some my Lumira. Here we go. It's going to take some WebB documents, 850 in my instances, and it's going to take everything. All right, and I'm going to say start. So now what the promotion wizard is doing, well, it's looking at what I've said I wanted in my old environment, and then says, well, let's calculate some dependencies. It will be quick here because, again, I did a full promote. When you do a full promote, it does just a mini calculation, but it doesn't have to go through everything because we just bring it all. So let's just wait a few more seconds. And then it should give me an error message. Because again, practice this so I know it will give me an error message. Should be. Hope so. Come on, let's do this. Computing more dependencies.
Perfect.
But it's good. So it's good because when I did that this last summer, it was SP00, not SP1. So I have a much better success rate now because SP1 has more features than SP00 had. So again, the migration in this version goes much more smoothly, and the success rate is obviously going to be better. All right, okay, let's see. Sure why it's doing this a few times now. Hopefully it goes through. All right, Scott, do you want to go?
Yeah, so I was just going to mention
with a question, the opening, yes.
Okay, yeah, so you're doing the full migration. I just wanted to point out, if you do the selective migration, you want to do it in the proper order, right? So if you just started moving folders right away without moving the security and the access levels, your security is not going to be applied correctly. So it's important if you try to do that individual promotions, not full, to make sure you're doing it in the correct order.
This is exactly, yeah, very good point, Pauline. Thank you. This is absolutely true for those of you who will do multiple or staged, promotions. So today you want to do the HR department, okay, that's fine. And tomorrow you want to do sales, and the day after finance, no problem. That's quite a common thing to do if you have really big deployments. But if you promote a folder without the users in the groups, there'll be no security. Yes. So you either want to push the users and the groups and the folders at the same time, or you want to have the users and the groups first, and then the folders. But if you try to promote, if you have some users who happen to be in HR and in finance, again, you need to practice this kind of incremental go live to make sure that, people will not end up with more or less securities, or they will just lose things in the meantime, especially if you move over several weeks or several months. Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Very, very important. I have no idea what this is doing. I've practiced this, I don't know, 5 times. The joy of gold.
Only 5.
Okay.
I guess we can answer some questions.
Yeah, let's go to some questions while this is running.
So
okay,
I see
so let's start
Flavio,
off from Pat Hannon. I'll get to that one in a minute. But we'll start off can we use a mix of AD and enterprise authentication?
Yes, of course, no problem.
Figured that. All right. Next.
And to just complement, if necessary for others, you can use a mix of AD and SAP and LDAP and enterprise. You can mix and match and have as many as you want. Yes.
Okay. The next question is from Chuck Lewis. Are there any enhancements to the Fiori BI Launchpad related to Section 508 compliance, specifically for visually impaired users? That's a really direct question. So I don't know.
That is very specific question. I wish
we got it or not.
I wish Chuck had asked that question to Pat Sims from SAP in the previous session. I'm afraid the answer is I don't know.
So the one thing is, Chuck, is Patrick will be in the following session after this, I believe, and we can probably bring it back, and he might have that. We'll get that answer for you later on. Okay. From Flavio Biondi, you say that universes and UNV are to be replaced. I'm sorry, things are moving here. Will not be supported with BusinessObjects 4.3.
No, that's incorrect. So universes, UNV and UNX are fully supported in 4.3. SAP has made a statement regarding UNVs, and if they end up being unsupported or deprecated one day, it will not be before 2027. Correct. So there is 6 more years of UNVs. I have been saying this for as long as UNX have existed. I really hope that there's nobody out there creating new universes as new NVs. UNX has a much nicer interface. You can do a lot more. So please create new universes as UNX. No need to rush to convert the UNV to UNX. This is something to keep in mind. 360 has a lot of great stuff to help you with that. But yes, you need to start certainly not having more UNVs anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so my promotion has worked.
All right.
Which is okay. So we will come back with questions. Okay. So the promotion has been well, it's successful. It took 5 minutes in my case, but for I have done migrations where this ran for 2 days. Okay. So it really depends the amount of content you have. Of course. Now have a look at the result. Now. There was how many errors? There were 42 failed objects. Now, failed objects doesn't mean that my migration failed. It just means that some objects did not migrate, and we need to have a look at why. So if I look to group by here, I can go to the outcome status. I like to collapse all, and we see that failure, ignored, and success. So if I open failure. And now I have these objects that didn't work, and there's an explanation. Now, in my case, and again, I left a lot of errors behind on purpose because I wanted to show you these things. For instance, if I have a look at this object here, okay, here we go. The user Piperia, that's me. This user has not been migrated because I don't have enough licenses. Now, one of the prerequisites when you go to 4.3 is you need to have a 4.3 license key. Now, you don't need to pay SAP anything more if you it's part of the maintenance you pay every year. So so when you go in the CMC, if I go here, when you go when you install, in the CMC you have a license key here. That license key that you have in 4.2 will not work in 4.3. So you need to go on the SAP portal. You simply say, hey, I want my 4.3 license key, and that's the key to use when you install BusinessObjects. Now, a lot of you out there will have more than one license key. A license key for 5 named users, another license key for 10 concurrent users, another key for something else. When you install BusinessObjects, you only enter one key, and then you go through with the installation. After the installation, you need to manually go and to not forget to put all the other keys that you might have. And in my case, that's what I've done here. I have not re-added all of the keys that I have. And unfortunately, well, I'm not licensed for that guy. And because I'm not licensed for that guy, it failed. And then when it failed, I get plenty of other errors because all of his personal documents cannot be promoted. So again, is it easy to miss this one? It's really easy, okay? So, but if you practice your migration, you don't find this at 9 a.m. the morning you plan to go live because your promotion wizard ran all overnight. You find these things up front. I forgot my license keys. You go resolve this, and then you migrate again. Other thing, Lumira has failed. Why? I purposely did not install Lumira 2.4 on this server. So what's the consequence of that? Can't migrate my Lumira content. So again, if you don't prepare properly, this is what happens here. And now you're wasting lots of time. What's this error message? What does it mean? Why did it happen? Oh, turns out I forgot to install this. They are silly mistakes which make you lose days and weeks perhaps of work sometimes. So so again, have a look at the outcome, and then you can export that to CSV, of course, to have a look at that offline. So again, very simple. Next. And now, if I go, before continuing with the slides, if I go to so this is the 4.3 environment. My folders are here. That's good. If I go to Universe Connections, the conditions will be here. And then if I go to the new BI Launchpad, I see, I see my content, and this is where I would go ahead and start to test them. Now, let's see if I just, last thing, like I said, I have a folder called Excelsius, but Excelsius content no longer exists. That's part of the content that were not migrated in the promotion wizard. So here we go.
Okay, next step, the backup and cleanup. So once you've done your migration, you might want to, this is a good opportunity when you've done an upgrade because you're moving to a new server to do some cleanup. Patrick likes to do it after the migration. Some people choose to do it before, but that's, it depends on your perspective. We recommend you do a full backup. You can use 360 Suite to do that backup. It'll back up all of your content, individual objects, get a backup, and I can share my screen. Should I share my screen?
While you do that, Pauline, yeah, there are two ways. Some people say, hey, I know this folder is no longer used. Either or through the analysis you've done. Well, fine. If you know it's not used up front because it's called the ZZ to be deleted folder, maybe you just leave it behind. Older people will be, well, I'm not sure, I don't want to take the risk, or I'm going to decommission my old 4.2 server as soon as I can. My personal opinion, bring everything that you kind of know, or kind of think that it could be requested one day. You take a backup once you are in your destination environment, and then you go ahead and clean up. And that way you can recover. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm logging to 360 Suite, and
we can't see your screen, Paulina.
No, you can't.
Oh, now we can.
Okay. So I'm in 360 Suite, and I'll just show you real quick what my backups look like. So I have a daily job that runs. It will back up all of my content. It'll back up all my objects, all my documents, universes. Everything gets its own buyer file. The first time it runs, it does a full backup, and then the subsequent runs are incremental. That allows you to restore, roll back an individual document, an individual universe, section, whatever the case may be. Gives you an easier way to restore if needed. And I'll just show, there might be, looking at some of your reports, you might see, okay, I want to do some cleanup. I want to remove a set of documents that haven't been run in the last 2 years. So you can actually purge a set of documents, a list of documents in bulk. So here's I'll schedule it to run it at I'll run it tomorrow. So I have a list of documents. Let me grab my, okay, now my screen's gone, sorry. Sorry about that.
What coastline were we seeing there? That was pretty beautiful.
Sorry, I don't know why my screen.
Okay. Pauline,
there it goes. Okay. Yes.
I think the phone of your headset is on your scarf, doing a little bit of.
Okay. I'll hold it. Okay.
As long as it's not Scott's beads, we're good.
Sorry about that.
Jealousy. Okay. That's what I hear.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is do a bulk purge of a list of documents. So if I go to source object removal, I have a list in Excel. It's just a list of CUIDs, document CUIDs that I want to remove. And here's my list of documents. And I can say, I can provide CUIDs or IDs. I've provided CUIDs in this case. And again, these were generated from 360 Suite based on usage. So anything that hasn't been used, in my case, it was the last 2 years, I'm going to bulk purge. And that allows me to do it in bulk, as opposed to, imagine you have a list of 1,000 documents that you want to remove. Having to do that from the CMC is going to be pretty time consuming, navigating to 1,000 different documents and doing the delete that way. Okay, switch back. I'll switch back to you, Patrick.
Oh, is it back to me already? Wow.
Oh,
okay.
sorry. Oh, did we miss? We missed this. I think we missed a step.
We missed the bulk UNX to UNVs.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Definitely. So yeah, I know there were a lot of questions about UNV, UNX. As Patrick said, if you're creating new universes, definitely create them in UNX. The issue is if you're still using UNV, you're not able to take advantage of any of the new features that are available with UNX universes. So I'm going to show you how we can repoint them in bulk. So once, SAP provides a tool to convert the universes from UNV to UNX. But once you've done that, you need to also repoint all your Webbies to use the new UNX universe. So I have just a folder here that's got 3 Webby documents. I'm going to show you how I can document those.
Scott, would you like to put Pauline's screen?
Say that again?
That's Scott, but Chris?
You don't see my screen?
No, we see mine.
Oh, it's yours? Oh. Okay.
Give me a second.
I can share.
Oh, Pauline, if you want to,
maybe I need to do it.
Oh, Pauline, if you want to comment while I'm doing, I'll do it live and you comment. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, it just switched to mine. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, I selected this folder that has 3 Webbies. I clicked on this XLS icon. It's going to document all of the Webbies. Open up an Excel file. So here's a list of my Webbies. So just 3. Each one of them has 2 data providers. So it shows the universe they're pointing to, UNV, and I want to provide the new universe ID that I want them pointing to. So in this case, I've already got the ID. And if it's multiple, if you have multiple universes, you could, it could be different universes that you're pointing. So I'm just going to do this in bulk. It's going to point all the data providers for those 3. Save that and go back to 360, of course. Okay. And then under administration, I have the ability to do a detailed repoint Webby universe, and it's going to, I'm going to upload that file. So it has the new universe ID that I wanted to point to. Select that and click process. And so it will bulk repoint those Webbies.
So converting from UNV to UNX, it's a simple task in the information design tool. It will make a copy of that universe. Now to be UNX. But if you have 1,000 Webby reports pointing to that UNV, these 1,000 reports need to, of course, point to that new universe. And this is what Pauline is showing us here, how to just do that in bulk and automated, of course.
Right. So yeah, it's just a log showing us how that can be accomplished. So just a quick way to do it. A lot of BusinessObjects users, they're hesitant to do that because it is quite a task to get those repointed.
That's great. Thank you, Pauline. Okay, so we have prepared, we have migrated, we have done a bit of I don't want to say admin, but maintenance tasks, maybe a bit of cleanup, maybe a bit of repointing, because you took the opportunity to, you know what, if you haven't done this for 5 years, maybe it's time to say, let's convert universes or drop a few things. So that's great. Now, once you've done all this, you want to make sure everything looks good. Now, when we talk quality here, something which is not on the slides, but we did a webinar with Bruno about, it was, the context was decommissioning here, but the arguments will be the same. Please involve your users. There's nothing worse than doing all the background work. You think everything is good, and maybe it is, but the actual person using it several hours every day can't find something, or there's a way that things used to be done is different. You know that 4.3 has a new user interface now, it's a Fiori interface. Not underestimate that some users, no, for your users, this may not be their data, full day job, right? They have so many new interfaces all the time. You may need to handhold some of the users with these new interfaces. But things to consider about quality. You want to compare the before and after, right? So if you had 200 WebEs before and you expect all 200 WebEs to still be there, you need to compare side by side, and same for the universes, the connections, the groups, and the users. So simple numbers game here, but again, with 360 Suite, it'll be very easy to just run the same report twice and you have confirmation straight away. Is your third-party authentication working? So you tested it before the migration, good. You migrated the users and the groups. You need to make sure that users can log on, first of all, and they don't see more or less things than before. And like Pauline said a bit earlier on, if you move the folders first and then you move the users, well, users will be able to log on, but they won't see anything. So again, testing that is important. I'll show you what we can do with 360 Suite on the next slide. But if you're doing it manually without 360, you will want to test, at least one report per universe. Yeah, so if you have 10 universes, at least 10 reports, this will confirm, hopefully, well, that part of that universe is working, that the universe connection is working, so you can refresh data. If you use more than just WebE, so Crystal, Mira, something else, make sure all the different tools can work. Validate the security. Like I said, people don't have more access to more objects before, or more or less objects than before, and the universe restrictions will be based on users and groups as well. So if you don't do things in the right order, you risk to mess up these things. And now, should you test on behalf of every single users? Perhaps, but again, automating all this will be a much more realistic thing to do. Is the data the same before and after? Is the formatting the same? Is the performance the same or better? So a lot of things to test, and these things can take quite a while. But I did not remove that little joke because I like it. For those of you who know Ant-Man, you know that he gets the world's greatest grandma trophy for being the best dad. But maybe you can get that trophy if you're the best. If you're the best BusinessObjects administrator, you'd be the best grandma. So let me show you with 360 how we could help. So we have one of our solution here, same interface that Pauline used earlier to compare before and after. And here I've done an example where I wanted to compare some reports that used to point to SQL Server before, now they point to Snowflake. So I compared the before and after the context of a database migration here. But same thing for a version upgrade. Yeah. Imagine you have a WebE in 4.2, you have a WebE in 4.3. You want to make sure they look the same. And with 360, it's quite easy. You'll run this task to refresh the report before, refresh the report after, compare it, and then you get a result like this one. So here's a very basic report. Everything is in green. It means that the two reports are identical, all 20 pages of them. Well, that's great. Now, here's a report with a couple of tabs, one green, one orange. Okay, there's a problem, and you can see there's a few things highlighted here. Well, numbers are not great and charts are not great. Something happened. And if you click, you can see what the problem was. Is it just the data or the formatting or both, perhaps? Again, so I have a problem with this report. And another example, so this task tested 3 reports, but I could add 100 if I wanted to. Again, 2 tabs. This report is massive, 954 pages. Nobody can go ahead and test and validate side by side 954 pages of every single report. But 360 will do that for you. Refresh before, refresh after. It doesn't matter if you have prompts or not. Everything is kept. And you see, oh, it took 15 seconds before, now it took 5 seconds. Well, okay, that's a sort of performance gain I'm happy with, but something is wrong. My numbers are not the same. So it could be the calculation engine that changes every version of BusinessObjects. It could be database drivers. It could be, I've seen it before. It used to point to prod, and now you made a mistake. It points to test environments. I don't know. The point is, changes before and after. And with 360, we can bulk test all of your reports, which will prove that they work, connection work, universals work, the security work, the users work. So we can bulk test all that for you within one solution, which is pretty cool. And over to you, Mr. O'Farley.
Oh, fantastic. So yes, so today we've done a really great demo of 360 suites, 4 of our tools that make up the 4.3 upgrade package. Those tools are 360 Eyes. That's our metadata management and impact analysis tool. Again, that helps you with that prep, that prepare and plan, and help you get the idea of who, what, when, and where, what you really want to bring over. It helps you with that streamlining and helps you up that cleanup portions of it, identifying what you would like to clean up. As one of my colleagues likes to say, this is not the time when you're doing an upgrade, this is not the time just to peanut butter everything from your 4.2 environment all and just shove it all into 4.3. This is time to really take the opportunity to streamline and get more efficiencies out of your new environment. 360 View. This is our bulk update and automation administration tool. It allows you to do all those day-to-day tasks that Patrick showed you, but doing them in bulk. We have a couple questions that I want to bring back that really comes back to 360 View in our chat line. We'll come back to those in a minute. 360 Plus. 360 Plus is the promotion tool that allows you to restore, backup, roll back, and allows you to do disaster recovery. Again, the promotion tool is a very robust tool that you obviously can promote within BusinessObjects, but the 360 Plus allows you to do it in a much more efficient, much more robust way, and that's the name of the game, to help you save the time, to do it in a risk-free manner, and to increase your availability for the other tasks that you have. Finally, of course, is 360 Bind. This is our automated regression testing tool. Again, it allows you to assure that quality that Patrick was talking about, and allows you to do it in an automated fashion, and allows you to do it instead of just taking the top 10 reports in your environment and only looking 1 or 2 pages side by side and up in the air. It allows you to do it and check everything. And if you want, you can check out hundreds, thousands of reports. If that's what your task is, you can do it. Okay. And if you're interested into this upgrade package, please take a minute, put a note in the chat, and either myself or one of my colleagues will reach back out to you. And with that, I think we have a few questions to answer. So,
yes, we have. I guess Chris will put the question. I was just looking at the LinkedIn a second ago. Okay, Chris, okay, I'll be quiet. You go.
Okay. So the first one I saw it from Mohan Rapati. Is can UNV to UNX report repointing Does it have any limitations when we want to repoint over 400,000 Webby reports?
Okay. I don't know if there's a limit. I would say no, because we do it, it's a batch job. So, but even if there wasn't any limit, I personally would do it in smaller batches, and not small batches of hundreds, batches of 10,000 or 100,000, but simply because if you need to roll back anything, it's just more effort. Pauline, I don't know what your opinion on this is. Again, I don't think there's a limit. I would like to break that in smaller chunks personally.
Yeah, I would definitely break it up. That would be too much, because there's the limit on your side, on the business object side, not necessarily on the 360. It's how many can be handled at once. So it's probably more manageable to break it up. But you could definitely repoint that many. Yeah,
again, it's an admin task. For us, it's easy. You say, hey, every Webby that have universe 1, 2, 3, I want now to point to universe 4, 5, 6, and then we'll just go and do it, right? Personally, I would be repointing maybe one universe at a time, which means that it's going to, if one universe has 50,000 reports, well, let's take care of these 50,000 reports first, and then universe is sorted. But hey, we can discuss this one separately, but there's no fixed limit now.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go further back here. Had a question from Anil Panuru. Can 4.3 grab the security from an older system to 4.3 without any further customization?
Can 4.2 grab the security from an... Well, in my case here, if you guys want to put my screen back online. So in my case, this was a blank environment. As you can see, it brought my users. If you look at the date stamp, well, it's UK time here, right? But you see, they all came today. Users were migrated, groups were migrated, and I don't know which security model I have on this here. Okay, well, here we go. Everyone, no access. That's not the default in BusinessObjects. It's me who configured that one. So yeah, this is the point of the promotion wizard. Promotion wizard will bring your security, like Pauline said, if you do it the right way in the right order. If you bring just the folders first, and then the users in the groups, no, you lose your security. But if you do it, again, the right way, there won't be any problem, no.
Okay. Another question from Rao. Can we migrate reports in universes using PMW, Promotion Management Wizard?
That's the way I've done it. Yeah, okay. That's the only way you can do it, for that matter, unless you use 360. But with SAP, that's the only way. Yes.
All right, and of course, yes. Perfect.
There was a good question while you search about, because I have this one. I've had this one for years and years and years since I was a consultant. Can we migrate from Linux to Windows, or the other way around, for that matter?
Yeah.
And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, in my case here, I use the Windows version of the Promotion Management Wizard, because that can be installed on a workstation, if you want. Yeah, you just point to the source. The source will be, let's call it in this way, Linux, and the destination will be Windows. Now, many companies, it's not rare that companies just, when they do an upgrade and they ask for new servers, it's the opportunity, like I said before, to move from Windows Server 2012 to Windows Server 2019, or to say, hey, now the corporate decision is we all have Linux boxes instead of Windows, or for whatever reason. But so yes, answer is yes. And another valid reason, for those of you who have read the statement of direction of SAP, Crystal reports how do I say this very specifically? If you have a BusinessObjects server, and that server hosts Crystal reports, and these Crystal reports, or that server is on Linux, it will no longer be supported after 4.3 SP2. Okay, so the future of Crystal reports to be hosted on a server and consumed on a server, the future of this is Windows. So if you are on Linux and Crystal reports is important for you, you will have to stay in 4.2, which is supported for another year and a half, or you'll go to 4.3 SP2, which will be supported for until 2027, but you will not be able to go to 4.3. 4.3 will not have the, these components here. When I go to servers and Crystal Report server, these servers here will not exist after from 4.3 SP3 onwards. So yes, we're talking 2022 stuff here, but yes, some of you may want to take the decision to migrate from 4.2 whatever, but to 4.3 Windows, because that's the statement of direction for Crystal Reports. It is not the case for Webby, not the case for anything else. This is just Crystal Reports.
All right, I have another question, and it's from Praveen Yemen. What are the prerequisites and challenges of migrating BusinessObjects from 4.1 SP07 to BusinessObjects 4.3? What is the best approach for migrating?
No difference to what I've showed you today. Same thing.
Figured. Okay. All right. I think we've pretty much exhausted the question and answer set portion of this. First, unless somebody else has anything left, they can quickly drop something into the chat box.
We have 3 minutes, so yeah.
So, I see a question from Bernard about he uses legacy 360 and he's moving to 4.3 360. So Bernard Green. So 360 legacy doesn't have a version for 4.3, so you would have to install a version for your old BI. I think it's 4.1. Is it or 4.2? So yeah, you need a version of 360 for 4.2 and one for 4.3, so you can do those comparisons with the regression tests with the 360 suite.
Yep, absolutely. But the point is, although you'll have to use two different 360s, you can absolutely do the regression from very old version to 4.3 with 360. Yeah.